Let's jump into question 4 now, into the next question. For companies that are considering becoming a B Corp, what are the steps involved and where should they start?
Okay, I might just get you to flick to slide number 1 if you can, Julia. Thank you. Okay, so I have borrowed this from the B Corp website, but I think it's a fantastic visual and a really easy way to view what your B Corp journey will look like. So I'll just step you through a couple of those parts very quickly, the ones that I think are really key. And knowing your business case is really crucial to this. If you can't talk about why you want to become a B Corp, you don't understand what the benefits will be for you, it's very hard to get your employees on board, your leadership team on board, and really engage your organisation in that journey. So knowing your business case for it, your reason for being, your reason for doing is a very important first step on that. But equally important is engaging your leadership and your board. If you don't have those people actively talking about it, actively advocating for why it's important to the business, then it loses a bit of its impetus. So strongly suggest that if you don't already have a really strong and engaged leadership group, that should be one of the first steps and one of the really key parts to embarking on the journey. In that second line down there, measure your impact, getting your baseline. I'll just focus on that for a minute. There's an online tool which Julia will share the link to called the B Impact Assessment. It's a free online platform, online assessment that allows you to go in at any stage and answer some questions to get your own baseline. So from that point, you can see, are there areas that you know that you're doing really well in, that you know you've got strong practices in, but are there other areas where you had completely missed or that needed a much greater focus? So getting that baseline through the free online assessment is a really quick and easy way that you can do that. And it gives you the advantage of knowing how you compare to other organisations and to highlight the key gaps that you might have and to help you make that decision about whether B Corp certification is achievable for you and in what timeline it might take to go through that process. Completing the assessment does take time. It's an investment in your business. It's an investment in your future, and it's an investment in getting the fundamentals right for your employees, your environment, for the governance of your organisation and for the community. So it's a great step to go through. Once you've met those requirements, and it's a point-based certification. So once you've met the points certification, you can then submit your final assessment and the B Lab team will analyse your results and look at your documentation and determine whether you are now ready to be certified. I'll talk a little bit about that a bit more, but the last part of the map that you can see is understanding your roadmap. What the assessment does is give you a roadmap for areas that you can make continuous improvement. And without that, it's hard to know where to focus. There's so much good and so much potential that can be unlocked through understanding your business, but without a roadmap, it makes it takes just that bit longer to get there.
Excellent, fantastic. And then there is the link there that we can share with everybody as well. Thanks for that, Leanne. The Start the B Impact Assessment. If you haven't seen that link as yet, we'll send that in the follow-up email for you after the session as well. That's great. Excellent. Handy to have that as a visual, isn't it? Just to see those steps and the methodical thinking behind it and the structure behind it. Just helpful, even just if you're not quite ready yet, just to know that what that's going to look like. Yeah. I don't think we've actually got this as a question, but just looking at that there, Leanne, what is the general sort of average time that you see that it takes for people to go through that journey and be certified?
That's a big depends answer, Julia.
I'm sure it is, yeah. What do you see? What's the sort of lower end and higher end on that range?
The initial assessment can take as little as 4 hours to determine your starting point or get your baseline. The time challenge really comes in your roadmap and the amount of change that you may need to make, or the things that you might need to put in place before you're ready to be certified. And that largely depends on the number of employees that you have. As your team grows, as your number of employees in the business grows, the expectation of what you do as a larger organisation for the community, for your workers, around your governance also grows. So it very much depends on what stage you're at and what you've already got in place.
Okay.
There are some large organisations that don't have a lot of structure. They may have amazing practices, but don't have a lot of structural measurement. That it might take quite a long time. There could be some very small organisations that have nothing, but because of their size and their agility, they can put it into place very quickly. So it depends on how many people you have working on it and how much time you dedicate to making it.
Yeah. So for a smaller organisation, I know that we have a large audience of micro, small organisations and enterprises. If they put a focus on this and really kind of got into it and had the right support, what sort of time frame would you sort of see for those sorts of smaller organisations? Like roughly, is it sort of, a couple of months? Is it 6 months, 12 months? What do you sort of...
To give you an example, and I'm sure they won't mind me sharing this, I worked with Intrepid Group on their B Corp certification journey, and they were certified in August this year. That process took over 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years. And there's a number of reasons why certification may take that long. There was a global spread of the operations around 23 different countries. There's the complexity of putting a policy in place and being able to roll out that policy and be able to demonstrate that an organisation actively is communicating and living that. There's complexity around making structural governance changes that might be required. So it could take as little as 2 or 3 months for a very small organisation that can mobilise quickly. For a larger, complex organisation, everything that you scale takes longer, and with the scaling takes the time. So I wish I could be a little bit more definitive on the timeline with that for you, Julia, but larger organisations, if they've got great stuff in place, could potentially do it within a year, but there's a lot of ifs, buts and maybes along the way.
Yeah, sure. No, I think that's really helpful. Yeah.
A bit more.
Yeah, no, I think that's really helpful for people that might, that this might be completely new and this might be the first time that they're actually learning about B Corp. They might have been shared these videos just to kind of get that in their head, isn't it, really? That it's, maybe 2 to 3 months if you're super organised, and maybe on the smaller side, right through to 1 or 2 years, because it is an undertaking, and there's a number of changes, and we're going to jump into those changes in just a moment. I'm going to give Leanne a chance just to have a glass of water and catch her breath. And I'm just going to share quickly with you a little information about what's going to be happening with these beautiful videos that we are recording and editing here after the session today. So we have, I think we're up to now 155 questions that we've asked our beautiful specialist members over the last 18 weeks. And that has helped to create pretty much what we think is the first social impact video library, definitely in Australia. We haven't been able to find one anywhere else overseas as yet. And that's just a free resource. It's part of our mission. Our social mission is to make life easier for social change makers. And so this is just a really great resource that you can tap into at any point in time, that you can share with your colleagues and friends. And in the sector, please spread the word. I'm just going to show you there a quick look at that. This is the exchange here. You can go through and see that all the Ask X Factor live sessions, I'll just point these out to you. All the Ask X Factor Live full sessions are all here that you can go back and watch a full session again if you'd like to, or go back and see. If this is your first session, go back and actually see what else did we cover over the last 18 weeks. And then you start to go into some big theme areas. So we've got fundraising and partnerships. There's a really great library of there, about 30, 40 little videos at the moment. Boards and governance. We've got data tech, IT and analytics. And then we move across into well-being, mindset and self-care. We've got philanthropy, private and business giving. These will all be growing into next year as well. Communications and marketing. We've got a beautiful community of changemaker coaches and mentors in the X Factor Collective. And so there's videos here that are specifically from our changemaker coaches. And so you can go through them and have a look. The videos all range from about 2 minutes. Some of the longer ones are about 10 minutes long. So please jump in. You can click over here and subscribe, and you'll be notified as new videos are uploaded as well. So that's just to let you know a little beautiful resource that we have been able to create here at the Collective this year, and we're excited about growing that into next year. So, and we can only do it with your help. We can only do it if you let us know what are the burning things in your organization, in your enterprise, in your business, wherever you're coming from, that we can help you with, that we can actually put together these forums here on a live broadcast each week, and then we can actually package them up as videos that you can play back and watch and share with people to really get the impact that you want in your organization. So that one is there for you whenever you need it. Now let's get back into it. You are here on Ask X Factor Live, and we're here today with people and culture specialist and capability builder, Leanne Hart. I love the title that Leanne has for herself, a capability builder. It's beautiful. If you've got any questions, we're here for another 15 minutes. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box or Q&A box, and we can jump onto those before we wrap up today.